Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, way after 7 p.m. on the East Coast. I was supposed to be on at 7 p.m., but we had some, let's just say, personnel issues. How about that? That sounds good, doesn't it? We had some personnel issues, and with that, we are now doing a different show. I hope a good one. We'll see what we're talking about. The issues that just popped up recently, as some of you know what happened. Mr. Nick Fuentes was hanging out with Tucker Carlson. Who thought that would happen? Some of you did. Some of you did not. But if you think this will be interesting, please do me a favor. Click the button known as like. Yes, the like button is awesome. Please do so. Share and repost this now if you would. Of course, please do so. But something else happening coming up here, something special. As you know, right away, this Friday, the Sharpe Club. 8 p.m., the Sharpe Club is absolutely happening. I want you to make sure that you enjoy the Sharpe Club because it will be here at 8 p.m. So please do that if you can this Friday. There'll be some details popping up. That means I have extra cool guests showing up. That's not a bad idea. You like that, don't you? Yes. And by the way, next week, Sharpe Way. This show will only be on Sharpe Way Properties and Rumble. It'll just be on Sharpe Way Properties. So all the Larry Sharpe stuff you're watching on, gonna be gone next week. You have to watch. You got to come on over to Sharpe Way. I know some of you like, but I don't like Sharpe Way. Too bad. You have to. So please do that. And speaking of Larry Sharpe Properties, remember the Gov Shack next Monday at 8 p.m. back in action. And of course, tomorrow, Gov Shack tomorrow, noon. There's a new one, Gov Shack tomorrow. So if you want to start seeing how this works, we're going to swap it out a little bit. Sharpe Way versus Larry Sharpe. Why? Because as you guys know, I'm running for governor. It's true. I can't talk about it much here because laws and stuff. So I have to go to Larry Sharpe for that. So please check that out if you would. I appreciate it as we shift ourselves around to make things hopefully clearer. That is what I hope. So the thing I wanted to bring up here is, what did it matter with someone like Nick Fuentes going on Tucker Carlson's show? Several things that I thought were interesting. And the first thing was how mad everybody got from both sides. So the right got mad, the left got mad. The left said, see, I told you. The right said, what are you doing? And they all got upset and mad. And it did show something interesting. It did show that there is there are cracks in the right side of our political spectrum. For those of you who didn't know that, if you're on the left, you probably didn't really see that. If you're in the right, you kind of already knew that. But there is a break within the system. You can see it there. But there's something else. If you look at someone like Nick Fuentes, the things that he said, he is openly a Nazi. I don't want to say it because it's YouTube. I'll get canceled because I do baby talk on YouTube. He's openly one. He said it. He admits it. He believes in what we used to think are radical racial things, right? I don't know how to say it on YouTube without getting canceled. But that's what it used to be, right? But now this has become almost basically mainstream. He has jumped on board to be mainstream. I'm not sure why, but yeah, he's basically mainstream now. Now, I mean, I'm exaggerating. He's not exactly mainstream, but he's far more mainstream than anyone like him would have ever been. What does that say about us? What I mean by that, I know some people, particularly if you lean left, you will attack and go, see, I told you the right was all fascist. I get that. Yes, I see that. But no, that's actually not the issue. The issue is fascists and not C's they don't randomly happen. They come from people who are unhappy. Have we made a situation to where we're okay with this? Whatever. Say what you want. We don't care. Where someone help me pay my rent. Someone help pay my rent. Is that what we've become? So yeah, I brought up a lot of this. So anyway, let me move through a couple of these. All right, I want to show you a couple pieces if I could, and what I mean by this. And this is someone on the right who's angry. See if I can show you this one. This is someone on the right who is angry. And this is a piece from, yeah, hold on. You'll know who this is immediately once I show you. You will know. All right, this is one of the pieces. I wanted to give you this so you could see.
Actually funny, it was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of
course,
Stalin.
the twink is a fan.
Oh, I was an admirer.
Now, that's her. Dana saying, of course, the twink is a fan. She's, of course, insulting him. And she, on her show, she insults both of them horribly. Obviously, she's a right-winger. She's a proud right-winger. She would identify as one. She is obviously on the right wing. She hated this. And she's relatively popular. Like, she's not like a nobody, right? She actually did support one of a libertarian once. She actually had Dexter Taylor on her show when he was arrested for Second Amendment violations, right? So, but she's obviously a right-winger, proud she would say it. I'm not speaking out of turn. She would absolutely agree with this. And she insulted Fuentes because Fuentes, according to her, I don't remember this, but some of you might remember, actually had a gay porn, supposedly, as she says, on his computer. And so I guess he's gay now. I don't know if that's true. Not that I care. But if you're a right-winger, well, you can't be a right-winger and be gay now, right? Oh, my God, the world's going to end. That's how she feels, obviously. So she's mad. She insults him by calling him a twink. That was an insult, not a descriptor. For some people, that's a descriptor. For her, that's an insult. And says how bad Tucker is.
Having a guy sit across from you and proclaim his love of this dead, failed revolutionary who murdered people and hated God, and talk about his devout love for him and not push back. By the way, these are some of the people who say Christ is king also. And they don't say Christ is king as a way to worship Jesus. They say Christ is king as a way to blaspheme and try to beat you over the head with it. Meanwhile, they worship godless atheists like Joseph Stalin. You see what I'm saying now?
She is not happy.
This is the woke right. They practice the same identity politics as the...
Now, I know if Mike Voss is watching, he just got mad because he heard woke right. He hates woke right. But this is now the fight within the Republican Party, within the right of America, I would say. Is there a woke right? She would say yes.
The left, because they are the left. Their policies are no different from the left. I just can't imagine calling yourself a hard-hitting journalist and not pushing back on that.
It's actually funny. It was December 18th.
And that piece I wanted to bring up so you would see that piece, right? That's the right being unhappy with what he did or what he said. The right was not happy about this. Well, there were people who, I should say, who weren't, right? Who weren't happy. So there we go. The issue here, someone asked, I thought he was gay. I don't think is he openly gay? I don't know. I know he says, if I remember right, he says he's a virgin. That's what he says. And he has not had a girlfriend or something like that. And what he has said, if I remember his last interview, he said that he couldn't because of he sacrificed himself to do what he does to save. I'm not joking. That's what he said. To the slings and arrows that he has taken means that he cannot have a girlfriend. See, he cares about you, Matt. He sacrificed himself for you. I know you feel the love. Yes. So I don't think he said he is gay. I don't think so. Mike says Fuentes attacks gays, which is why his porn and gay relationship is hypocritical. Yeah. There was also a rumor. I don't know if it's true. If someone does know if it's true, that supposedly him and Destiny had a very special intimate encounter. Is that good? There we go. A very special intimate encounter. That I don't know if that's true, but that was if anyone happens to know, let me know. That was that was a rumor. I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't doubt it. So yes, I would not doubt it at all. So there's going to be one more piece that he brought up also, see what happened during the interview. And the biggest argument I think that people are giving, right, is there are many people who are saying, hey, this is wrong, right? He shouldn't have done it. But I think there are a bunch who are actually saying, why didn't you push back? I think that's one of the key pieces. They're saying, why didn't you push back on this? Right. And I get that concept completely. Right. I definitely do. All right. Let me this last piece if I could. And this is them kind of joking. Here they are joking about whether or not someone's a Fed.
I thought you were a Fed.
I thought you were a Fed.
I was a Fed.
Yeah.
I'm not a Fed.
Yeah, we showed each other a badge as we know well.
I had Joe Kent here to my house. I did this interview with him, and I'm always in search of a sincere politician, not don't have to agree on everything, but I really believe sincerity is the whole game.
Mhm.
If someone's heart is pure, he will be brave. I was like, this guy is really sincere. He's like a good person. And then you show up and you're like, he's a CIA officer.
Joe Ken is CIA.
Like really like crush the guy. And it's like, why of all people, you agree on 90% of stuff.
Mhm.
You know, that was my view. And I was
Right.
like, well, clearly this kid's a Fed. I
For a
thought you
long
were
time.
a Fed.
Now, the piece I get is Nick Fuentes drops the N-bomb like there's no tomorrow. He has said literally that women should keep quiet. They're his words. Women should shut up and be quiet. Black people should be in jail. He opened. I'm not saying anything out of this. Is not insults that I'm saying. I'm not trying to be Kyle Kalinske and just insult him. I'm not saying this. I'm saying this is what he has said openly and happily. And if he was talking to me, he would say that. What I don't remember. I know Tucker. I couldn't watch the whole thing here and there just because. I mean, it was tough to watch. Is what I would say. It was tough to watch. But I don't. At no point do I remember Tucker just going, "Why would you say those things? Just why would you say those things?" I think that's a piece. If I had to interview him, and I would totally take the interview. To be very clear, I'm not a hypocrite here at all. I would absolutely do it. There's no doubt. If Nick Fuentes wants to come on this show, I'm interviewing him 100%. So I'm just being very clear. I absolutely would do that. Yes, I totally would. So, but I wouldn't just be nice like that. I would. You guys see me interview. I go back and forth, but you do see me. I do press people for what they actually think, why they do things, all those things possible, right? Rick says it right. Fuentes doesn't mind being called all the Islamophobic names. He does not. He happily embraces them. He doesn't care. He's happy. And here's the part. Rick, thank you for bringing this up. This is the other part that bothers me about this. And this part is the left's fault. And if you lean left, you'll be angry when I say it, but it's still true. This part is the left's fault. The left spent so much time since last 10 years or so, it's about that, calling everybody who didn't follow exactly what they said, who didn't say the exact words you're supposed to say, who didn't act the same way that you're supposed to. They were all is and phobes. And when you call everyone an is and a phobe, the actual is and phobes are protected. And this is the perfect example of that, Rick. He actually is an is and a phobe. That's true. And he would admit it. You're right. He doesn't care. Like, yes, I'm the thing. But when I'm going back 10 years or so, when you called somebody an ist or phobe, they went, no, I'm not an ist. I'm not a phobe. We said, yes, you are. Yes, you are. And they weren't ists or phobes. They were making mistakes or didn't understand something or weren't sure about something. And we didn't say, let's have a conversation. We said, you're horrible. You're bad. And when I say we, I mean corporate America and the left in general did that. I know I was in it. I watched it happen. So one of the reasons why I stopped doing corporate training, I was telling somebody this the other day, one of the reasons why I stopped doing corporate training is because corporate training was becoming wokeism. It was becoming that, which doesn't work. It only harms. DEI does have value if it is done as a way of empathetic feeling, empathetic thought process, not having having quotas, but changing how you recruit and things like that to naturally, voluntarily create a more integrated, a more diverse workforce. Absolutely can work. I used to teach it all the time. It's important. That changed. And that changed. It started changing around maybe 2010-ish in that area, 2012-ish in that area. I'm not sure exactly when it started changing, but it started changing. And by the time it was 2015, 2018, it wasn't worth me even teaching anymore because I couldn't teach it because the garbage they would teach me was just harmful. What they were teaching increased racism. It increased is and phobes. It increased them. And now it protected them. Now a guy like Fuentes goes, I don't care. And here's the worst part. So many people who've been called it, as I have been called it, just don't care anymore. Like, you called me that, and I'm not that. Well, so there we go. Yeah, so thank you for that. I appreciate you bringing that piece up. So, absolutely. All right. Matt says, like Cenk said, might not agree about everything with someone, but take the wins when you do. I'm with you, right? I'm with you, but I don't know. What do I agree with on Nick Fuentes with? I don't know. I don't know him well enough. I don't really talk to him usually, but on the Islamophobe stuff, I don't. Now, the funny thing is, Tucker Carlson said it, but he said it in a way. What Carlson did, I think, wrong is he said things like, you blame all the Jews. That's what Tucker said, something like that. But that can't be true. That isn't true. My Christian faith tells me that's not true. My Christian faith tells me that's not true. Now, maybe he believes that. I don't know Tucker personally at all, if that's a big part of his life. I don't know. But you could just go, that's not true, right? Like, that's not true, right? I mean, you know people who are Jewish who clearly aren't part of whatever cabal you think exists. That's the style I might have used, something like that. I mean, that, right? And then he would go back and go, no, they're all, or whatever. And then you bring him out in that regard, and he says what he's going to say. A much better way of doing it than just going, well, my Christian faith tells me that's not true. Okay, next. And you guys know, I'm not confrontational when I interview. I'm not. You don't come to my show for blood sport. That's not. You can go on so many shows and watch blood sport. I'm not blood sport. I'm trying to get to why someone thinks something. I'm trying to get to why that is. I want to get deep into what someone's thinking, why they did what they did. You see my interviews, I used to do that kind of thing. I'm not sitting here going, I just want to yell. I want to virtue signal. But the other part is he didn't even virtue signal well. He didn't even virtue signal well. So I guess there's a part of me that says, man, I'm upset because he didn't even virtue signal well. Like he didn't do any of the things well, right? None of them. He did none of the things. So yes. All right. Let me walk down some of these if I can. I'm going to grab a couple more of these comments and then I'll go down a couple more if I could. All right. Phil says, Rick says, first Atlanta acknowledgement. This YouTube channel was built on the ancestral lands of first meme and shit posters. True. You're not wrong. True. So I did an Atlanta acknowledgement. I hope that people are happy about that. So there we go. Yes. All righty. Mike says, Fuentes is not popular nor acknowledged by the right. He is fringe at best. Media uses him to demonize MAGA. Utterly untrue. Mike, what are you talking about? He went to have dinner with the president of the United States. Don't tell me he's not popular. Him and Ye are like buddies. Stop that. That's 100% not true. I know you don't like him because he's a bad representative of the right. True. Accurate statement. Bad representative of MAGA. True. You're right. But to say he's not popular, stop. Stop. Have you seen his numbers? They kick my ass and your ass combined. He's popular. You don't want to accept that. That's up to you. He is popular. Absolutely popular. And he's not left. Well, unless you're Dana Loesch, then he's left. He's woke right, according to her. I know you hate that, Mike. Mike's probably yelling at me right now. So yeah, I know he hates that. So yeah, absolutely. Mike does not like, oh my God. Okay. Mike does not like Nick for sure. He got a couple of these guys, he says. Roshi, nothing about Fuentes is newsworthy. Media has elevated him to distract from Kirk death and let this indoctrinate policies and violence. Fuentes has been popular for years, dude. He's been growing for years. He has been. The guy doesn't stop. The one thing Fuentes does well, I always give credit where credit is due, no matter what. Even if I don't like the person, I still do it. Here's what he does well. He never stops fighting. He never stops. He never backs down, ever. And he always insults. He doesn't stop. And again, whether you agree with him or not, it's attractive to people. People like, when people see him, even though they hate what he says, they still like the fact that they believe that he is real. Now, some people think he's a Fed. So if he's a Fed, then they're being fooled. But whether they're being fooled or not, there are literally millions of people who believe he's being true. And why is that so terrible? This goes back to what I was saying, Mike. Think about how bad our political environment is. How bad it is. That we don't care if a guy is an obvious bigot, an obvious screaming, proud bigot. Well, at least he tells the truth. That is how bad our political environment is. That's how bad it is. That we would accept this, where I was telling the truth, and people are attracted. Yes. It's crazy. Yes. So anyway, all righty. Let me walk down here. Let's see. Liberty Lady says, I'm not a fan of Fuentes either, but I'm also a free speech absolutist, and I think Tucker can talk to whoever the hell he wants to. Yes, you can. That isn't the point. I get you. I can. We all can. The question is, it's two parts. One is a question, and one is what most people will think no matter what. Number one is, if I say who I am, and then I interview somebody who is the opposite, don't I have to still show who I am? Don't I have to have some consistency in my thought process and beliefs, or do people not believe in me, right? That's a personal level. Second level, does someone who has the platform that Tucker Carlson has, does he have some responsibility on who he gives that platform to? Now, not requirement. As to your point, he can bring anybody who wants on. Joe Rogan can too. Does he have some form of responsibility? Specifically, someone like Tucker versus someone like Rogan. Joe Rogan has never said he's a journalist, or never. He's a podcast host. That's what he is. Tucker Carlson has not only said he's a journalist, but acted as one and continues to. So if you portray yourself that way, then you kind of have a social responsibility if you're going to portray yourself that way, or we will expect that of you. That was not responsibility. Expectation is maybe a better way of doing it, right? We're going to expect something out of you. If you're Joe Rogan and you're a podcast host, what happens? You're a podcast host. Okay. Tucker Carlson portrays himself as something more than that. And if he does, that means there will be an expectation of us that he does something better. He will ask the hard-hitting question, or he will try to probe in some way, right? He will do something like that. He didn't. I think that's an important piece here, right? He didn't do that. So, yeah. And Andrea says, Tucker can talk to whoever he wants. Doesn't mean I have to watch the episode. Yes, but again, if you like Tucker Carlson, I don't know if you do, Andrea, but if you do, you probably have an expectation of him. Wouldn't you have one of me? Right? So yes, you may not like an episode because you might think, oh, it's boring or dumb. And I get it. You have a right to think that way. But I shouldn't all of a sudden be a different person because I have someone in front of me, right? Unless I have some reason. And sometimes I say that. If I have a personal connection to somebody, Andrea, I always say it. I say, here's my personal connection. Here is why I am biased. I always announce my biases up front, so you know where they are, right? So there's no doubt. So why is Larry being so? Oh, because that's his cousin or whatever, right? Okay, I get it. That's why. And you can act accordingly. But Fuentes isn't his cousin. Fuentes is not my cousin, right? If I had to interview like my brother or something and it was a bad spot, yeah, I'd tell you, dude's my brother. So take that for whatever it's worth. He didn't do any of that. So yeah, I think that's a piece. So, all righty. Matt says, I don't agree with a lot of what Fuentes feels, but I can get on board for actually making America great again and not bending over the Israel hell. Yeah, these are the parts that I think is what makes people actually support him. Because in his mind, at least, that's what in his mind, he is actually America first. Now, he thinks America first means it should be a white nationalist America. But in his mind, that is America first and male-dominated women. His words, women should shut the hell up. His words. He does believe that, right? Okay. But some people say, well, that's America first. And there's the problem. Yet again, Matt, we have 432 congresspeople and 100 senators. And out of those 535 people, you can't find enough people who you believe in your worldview are America first enough that you got to believe in Nick Fuentes? And sadly, the answer for millions of America is yes. Is yes. This goes back to what I keep saying. Every time we put a terrible person, we put that person up, however we put that person up, and they were competing against somebody else. When they win, you also have to ask, how bad was the other guy? You have to ask that question. Now, maybe the first guy's just so good. And the other guy wasn't that bad. Maybe. Or maybe the other guy was just so bad. They took this guy. How many times do I say, if you're drowning and somebody puts a hand out, you don't care who's behind that hand. You don't care. You're drowning. You grab it. How bad are we drowning that Nick Fuentes is the hand that we happily take? So yes. Matt goes on to say, like my guy RFK Jr. taught me when he was running for president, you should listen to what people you don't like are saying so you can understand their viewpoints. And I can agree with a lot when it comes. Yes, I agree with that. You guys know me. In my team, in my personal life, I have many people who are not libertarians. In fact, this is one of the issues we have. If you notice the show, this isn't a libertarian show. It's not. People think it is sometimes, but it's not. This is a show run by a libertarian. Sorry, not even run by. My team runs it after this damn show. This is a show hosted by a libertarian. That's what it is. But you don't see that many libertarians on the show. You see all sorts of people on the show. You don't even seem to talk about libertarian issues all the time. All kind of stuff. I'm talking about Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson today. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the point. So, any case. All righty. I'm going to grab some of these. Josh says Larry's late. I was very late. True. Guilty as charged. We had personnel issues. There we go. We had personnel issues. That's what happened. So, yeah, but we are back. So, I had to change everything. So, just stuff happens sometimes, guys. It's true. It's true. It's true. All righty. Josh is not going to be able to make it. He has to work 7 to 11 on Friday. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. Maybe you get to watch it afterwards. Yeah. There we go. Larry says, I'm not a fan of this new lower 1/3 banner. Takes away from seeing Larry. You don't like? Oh, so now people complaining. I got to change stuff now. Says Sharpe Way Show. What's wrong with that? That's not good. Change that too. All right. But then he says, I hope I can remember all these different shows, times, and channels. Do my best. Here's what you can do. If you are worried about all these shows and times, here's what you do. Very simple. Head over to Larry Sharpe YouTube. Click subscribe. Go to all notifications. Click all notifications. Then head on over to Sharpe Way YouTube. Click subscribe. Then click all notifications. That's the best chance you'll get notified. In both cases, whether I go live either way, you'll get notified. That's the best chance. You can do it on Facebook too if you want to. Follow both Larry Sharpe and Sharpe Way. And if you want to, also on X, you'll be fine. Follow either of those you can. The odds are higher. You'll be able to see that. Yeah. But laws are laws, and they make me do what I must do. So, yes. Somebody says, what laws are there that prevent you from talking about running for governor? It isn't that. It isn't that talking. The question is, if anyone can say, I somehow made money go here or there, if something is an in-kind donation, then if anyone's, then I'll get fined, or they'll put fees on me, which they do all the time anyway. I get fined every time I run because there's so many rules that, since you brought this up, so let me bring this up. People think, well, finance, campaign finance rules are to make sure that we make things fair and safe and everything like that. No, they're not. Campaign finance rules are made to crush the independent and small candidates. They're so changed and turned and shifted and all those things that there's no way you can know it unless you have a team that you spend money on. So it prices people out. But Larry, how is it going to control? We have more campaign finance laws than we've ever had. Not even close. And there's more money in finance than ever in campaigns than ever. It doesn't work at all. It never has, cannot work. You just simplify it and make it totally transparent, and then it would work. I'll give you some examples. There are certain expenditures for no reason that you have to report within 24 hours. Why, Smite? It's arbitrary. And you have to know which ones are which. And if you think you're wrong, well, then they can fine you for it. Now, you're reporting it. So what if I decide I'm not going to report 24 hours? I'm going to report everything, but at the end of the month. So you can see everything I'm doing end of the month. No, if it's this type, it must be 24 hours. What's this type? They decide. Why 24 hours? They decide. Utterly arbitrary. Do you know that you can't give more than $100 in cash? Why? Arbitrary number. You just can't do it. Yeah, that too. Yes. Just when it comes to matching funds in New York State, they'll go 5 to 250. Why that? I don't know. You can't give more than 1,000. You don't get matched. Why? I don't know. There's so many of them, and they go on and on and on and on. And then getting on a ballot, they decide you have to get 500 signatures from half of the congressional districts. Why? Arbitrary. You have to get it within this 6-week period. Why this 6-week period? Arbitrary. Why 6 weeks, not 8? Arbitrary. They just make up rules constantly, all the time. So I'm trying to stay as safe as I can and pay as few fines as possible. That's it. I wish it was about anything other than that. So, yes. Adirondack says, at Rick, there's an effort to make people believe Larry's a Muslim. So does the Sharpe Club have bacon? Ooh, I got to figure that one out. Actually, I don't care if you think you're Muslim. I'm not Muslim. I'm Eastern Orthodox, but you're Muslim if you want to. I don't take that as an insult. So it's fine. They can think what they want. And the other thing is, I know people say all the time, Larry, when you're running for office, you have to worry about, being perfect because then they're going to attack you on this or on that. Oh, no, they fight you no matter what. And if you don't like it, they make things up. Here's the example I was talking about. Team, if you're watching, they just make things up. Some of the people on my team, they will say, Larry, we can't do that because they'll say this, they'll say that. And I always go, I don't care. They go, what? Why don't you care? I don't care. Why? Because if I am perfect, I'm not. But for argument's sake, I'm perfect. They'll just make stuff up. So why do I care? I'm going to be attacked constantly. So now I'm Muslim and that's an attack. Whatever. I don't care. So I guess I'm Muslim now. Maybe I should eat some bacon and then they'll say I'm a bad Muslim. I'm not even a good Muslim. I'm a bad Muslim because I eat bacon now. Anyway, they'll just make things up. That's how it works. If you don't give them a reason, they'll just make it up anyway. So doesn't matter. Yomir says, live for Governor New York. Thank you. Adirondack again says, I've been making many Larry Sharpe for Governor comments all over too. Thank you guys. These matter tremendously. Everyone, I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes, please keep going. I appreciate it. Yes. All right. Matt says, I don't care if you like Stalin or not. I like how he calls out Israel and our government being controlled by them. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Matt. That's one of the reasons why. But again, I go back to that, Matt. How bad is our government to where we have to wait for Nick Fuentes to do that? Shouldn't a whole bunch of the 535 people in our Congress be doing that? No, because he's kind of right. That's the problem. I keep going back to this. Yes. Rick says Fuentes is a very effective troll and artist. Not wrong. Not wrong. Yes. Mike goes on to say the views of Fuentes are not of the right. I can smell some copium in this one. There's some copium in this one. Copium. They are. Yeah. Yes. Yes, they are. Not openly gay, but his inner circle I've confirmed. Oh, maybe he is gay. Okay, I didn't realize he was gay. Not that I care either way, but your point earlier is important, Mike. The hypocrisy is bad. If he is gay, why is he sitting there attacking gays? I mean, I guess because he's a right winger has to hide being gay. It's the worst. The worst. Right winger closet gay people are the worst. I'm sorry if you're one of them. I don't mean to insult you. If you're on the right and you're gay, just come out. It's okay. Because if you're closeted gay and you're on the right, boy, are you mean. I'm sorry. That's broad. I don't care. It's true. They're mean. They're just nasty and mean. Either become a lefty or just come out of the closet. They're the worst. If that makes sense, if he's closet, that's why he's so mean. That would make total sense. Just if you're gay, either go to left or just come out of the closet. Either one's fine. Don't be a self-hating, closeted, right-wing gay person. You will just be a jerk. It's how it works every single time. It's how it works. Please don't do that. Just be you, man. Anyway, Miss says, check out Sybil. She's right. Missy said, check out Sybil. She is right. And here's the cool part about Sybil. If you want to check out Sybil, you can go over there. And when you sign up, go to Larry, put a code Larry10 in for 10% off. You say, wait a minute, Larry, wasn't it 50% off? It was, but you guys didn't jump on it. So now you got to deal with this one. Now, do it now. It still matters. But you know what? Take your time and check out Sybil. It does matter. Why? All right. All right, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you why. Okay, you might think why? Because I always got something. I always got something to show you on civil. I always do. And this one's about technology. Everyone's talking about technology. Well, here, I got some technology for you. Here we go. Right now, you can see this is talking about how America can boom. Right
if you
here.
are the weirdo and you have found your tribe of weirdos, you have to get used to the idea that you will over time feel like almost all of your principles have been betrayed. For most of human history, to the extent that there was economic growth, it was really too slow for someone to even notice over their lifetime.
See that? This was from last
How do we
year.
escape stagnation and accelerate progress? And what if bubbles are good, actually? Just asking questions.
If bubbles are good, the AI bubble is going to be great for us. Bubbles aren't good. But if they are, then we're going to be great. We're not going to be great. So, but he's just asking questions and I'm answering them. Bubbles are not good. But yes, this is what he's talking about. So you can go there, check it out on Civil if you want to. Head over to civl.com. And when you sign up, put in code Larry10. That's Larry, the coolest name on the internet, 10 for 10% off for the year. Look, do that. And you know what will happen? You will eventually realize that every single show that I do shows you something cool, something interesting. This is how we upgrade civilization, by having real conversations without blood sport, which is what I've been talking about, without the conflict machine, real back and forth, real conversations, pushback when required, learning cool stuff. Civil.com, CIVL.com, upgrading civilization, Larry 10 for 10% off. Thank you for that. Allow me to do my commercial, Missy. Missy cared about me. She knew. She was watching. By the way, click that button known as like. It does matter. Click that button known as like. If you have not shared this, repost this, please do so now. Remember, this Friday is Sharpe Club, 8 p.m. and Gov Shack, 8 p.m. next week. Only on Larry Sharpe Properties, because next week, Sharpe will only be on Sharpe Properties, except Rumble. It will be on Sharpe Properties only, and Larry Sharpe for governor stuff will be on Larry Sharpe Properties. We're mixing and matching, shifting, so we don't get too hammered by the government, but we will hammer anyway, I'm sure. So, yes. All right, I'm grab some more of these. Michael says, our political system / environment equals Dr. Eggmanler, which is where you combine Eggman. Oh, gotcha. Yes. He is correct. I don't want to that's a horrible combination, but you're not wrong. It's a horrible combination, but you're not wrong. Yes, it's true. So it's not good. John says, Fuentes was just done with Dave Smith about 2 weeks ago and already has 1.7 million views. Case closed. Yes. Yes. Thank you, John. He's popular. Mike, you're losing this one. He's popular. He absolutely is. And I hate the fact that I hate the fact that he has such charisma. He does. There are women who still like him. Yes, left women who like him. There was an entire group of women on the left who are now hot for Nick Fuentes. Yes. And you're saying, Larry, it's not true. Google it. It's true. It's like a thing. I'm saying to myself, what? But yeah, people are drawn to charisma and strength. And a lot of you are like, but no, he's an hysterophobe. Yeah. There are women who like serial killers, right? These are obviously bad people. They're serial killers. They're bad people. Women are drawn to them. Some women are. Sorry, very clear. Some women are. There's a group of women who are. People are drawn to strength and charisma regardless. And you get 1.7. I would like to have 1.7 million views, which is why I said I wasn't going to lie to you. If Nick Fuentes is like, man, I want to go on Larry Sharpe show any day, pick the day. Yes, you can come on. You can call me hypocrite, whatever you want. I don't care. I am taking those views. Yes. Just saying, I would do it. Absolutely. So there we go. Let's see. Mike said, oh yeah, Mike, he's beating you up already. You're coping out about Fuentes. He's very popular. Yes. He's got to know. It's absolutely true. Mother Nature says, too much information is available for people who have to filter through and fact check. Thanks to social media. This is an important piece that you bring up. This is very important. And the point I mean by this is, because there's so much to go on and look at, we very often just believe our talking head that we trust. Now, the only talking head you should believe is me. Except for me, don't believe any of them. Instead, do your homework. On me, don't do homework. Blindly believe anything I tell you. So I'm the exception. But I get it. If all of a sudden there's so much going on and someone goes, Nick Fuentes isn't such a bad guy. You go, oh, maybe he's not a bad guy. My talking head told me that. I don't watch Nick Fuentes. Someone said something, but I don't remember what it was. So you know what? Okay. Or the reverse. He's evil. And you don't know why. Yes, absolutely. So I do think you're right. Yes. So Michael goes on to say, Tucker also threw up conspiracy theories. Yeah, but that actually is kind of his brand, right? That's Tucker's brand. So I get that at least, right? You're doing it because that's kind of who you are. So I get that part. That part's okay, only because I get it. So yeah. All righty. I'm looking over on Rumble, and Phil says, thank you for $1, Phil. Nick has been banned since his early 20s. Does mainstreaming him, moderate him. Also, Nick does left-wing socialist race theory to white people. True. Yes. So that's why I think Dana calls him woke right. I think that's why she calls him that. Yeah. I don't think mainstreaming him hurts him at all. I think it helps him. I think I think it helps him. I think he's going to be more popular. Before you know, he's going to be like speaking at some college or whatever, if he doesn't already. I could see it for sure. Yeah. I think he's becoming more and more popular. John says, name calling proves no other argument and admitting defeat. Yeah. Unless you're just trying to get clicks. Andrea says, but Larry, you push back on certain ideas. I do. Absolutely, I do. And so I do push back here or there, but it's not blood sport, right? So I don't think you see me say things like, I would never have Nick on my show and go, you're a goddamn blah, blah, blah. How dare you? I wouldn't do. That's blood sport. And then he'd yell at me. I yell at, right? I wouldn't do that. But would I ask him serious questions? Of course I would. Yeah, absolutely. Josh says, Nick Fuentes libertarian. All right. This has been the bane of libertarians for 50 years or more. It's one of the main reasons why people think we're Republicans. One of the main reasons. Almost always in Republican world, it's not 100%, but it's very common that when Republicans don't like the current Republican Party, they say, I'm not really a Republican. And they do go one of two ways. They go, I'm really a conservative. Or they go, I'm really more libertarian. They always do, but they're Republicans. So Republicans who are mad at the current Republican Party will call themselves one of the two things because they're mad at Republican Party and don't want to identify because whatever's happening. So they either go, well, I'm not really Republican, I'm conservative, or I'm libertarian. There's a point where Ben Shapiro called himself libertarian. I know, Ben Shapiro. He's not a libertarian. He's a conservative. I'm not mad at him for being a conservative. Good for you. Be a conservative. I'm mad because you're lying or you're smearing us. Nick Fuentes is not a libertarian. He's not, but he calls himself one. I can't stop him. So lots of people who are not libertarians call themselves libertarians. Bill Weld called himself a libertarian. Trump called himself libertarian. Yeah. I'm not making this up. Now, at least when Vivek was talking, he said at our convention, he said he used to be libertarian. Fairer. He's a Republican. He's not libertarian, right? But okay, maybe he used to be. I'll buy that. But yeah, this is what hurts us. Every time I go on any show, immediately they go, these terrible libertarians, they're the ones who make sure the government has everything. The corporations win everything. I'm like, we haven't been in power ever. Ever. It happens all the time. You libertarians, you're the reason why corporations run everything. We don't run anything. What are for nothing? What libertarian government have you seen that corporations control everything? Where? What state? What city? Where? If you don't like Americans' corporate culture, you can blame Democrats, Republicans for that shit, not us. But they will always blame us. So that's because of this. Because everyone who does something bad goes, I'm not really this. I'm a libertarian. You're not libertarian. Anyway, I can't stop him. Phil goes on to say, for $1, thank you. Nick was banned from places he was rewarded for saying, wait a minute. Nick was banned from places. He was rewarded for saying more extreme things to dedicated audiences. If isolation makes him extreme, does acceptance moderate him? Oh, will it moderate him? Generally speaking, no. Generally speaking. Why? Because his habits. So he has built his habits this way, so the odds of him changing habits are slim. However, could it happen? Yes. And what will change him? Cash and status. If he becomes someone who they give him a lot of money and he becomes accustomed to a certain lifestyle, and all of a sudden they go, you want to keep that lifestyle? You know what, Nick? Maybe don't talk about Israel that much. And if he all of a sudden stops talking about Israel and buys a Bugatti, then you would be right, Phil. That would have happened. We'll see, right? If he's like, well, Israel's not that bad. I mean, Netanyahu, people be people. And then he buys a new, $20 million apartment in Manhattan. Okay. He got moderated, is what I would say. That's how he will be moderated in that regard. So possible. But yeah, I don't know. All righty. Matt asks, do you guys post Larry's schedule on his channels? I was thinking about Mother Nature's comment. We need to be better at that. The problem is, Matt, is I try my best to be as topical as I can. So I can't really post stuff too far out because stuff happens on a given day. There are many times that I figure out what I'm talking about that day. Talking about this today, I figured out about 20 minutes ago. So yeah, so like I'm exaggerating, maybe an hour ago. So yeah, that often happens. So we try to, but it's very challenging. But we do post it when we can. We do. It just can be challenging. So yes. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Matt says you don't have to be Republican to be MAGA. True. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think you can be, and you can be Republican and not be MAGA too. Yeah. Kai1 says, ever since Tucker, I think he means Carlson, went solo, it seems like he has a bunch of cookie cutter questionable guests that he doesn't question at all about history compared to Look, I think you're right, Kai1. What I can say is if I was Tucker and I was making a shift off of Fox News into the world of podcasting, it's not an easy shift to make. I'm not excusing it. I'm explaining it. There's a difference, right? Why'd you kill your wife? Because she cheated on me. Okay, that explains why you killed the wife. Doesn't excuse it. Still bad, terrible, go to jail. But I've explained why, still guilty. I'm explaining, not excusing. So I think he had to make a change. And I think now you have different people, different things, and you shift a bit. And you have to be a bit more questionable. Because if you're a Fox News host, if they give me a show on Fox News, I have a built-in audience. As long as I'm not terrible, I will get some people watching me, guaranteed, because some people like Fox News and they watch Fox News. And when he's on Fox News, he got some people. Now, he was good on Fox News, so he got more people. But he would have got some no matter what, even if he wasn't that good. So now you come off of that. Oh, you're guaranteed nothing. You're guaranteed nothing. You're not getting 700,000 viewers per night, no matter what. No, you're guaranteed nothing. You're not guaranteed a massive paycheck, 8-figure paycheck every year. I guarantee that. So I think that's what happened in that regard. So yes. All righty. Karen says, this is so timely. Today I had a MAGA tell me that EBT recipients should only be given MREs. He lost his shit when I asked if he want disabled vets given MREs. People become so extreme in their political beliefs that they are basically blinded. Yes, right. So one group is bad and the other group is not. Yeah, I'm with you. What we should be doing is making an environment to where people don't need EBT. We should be supporting our vets. They don't require MREs. So yes, I speak about this all the time. We have to be fixing the environment so this stuff isn't required. That's the way you do it. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Missy says, highlight your question or comment for Larry to read live with Super Chat. You can if you want to. Guys, if you want to Super Chat, you can go right to the front if you want to. Super Chat gets you right to the front on YouTube. You can rant me and rumble as Phil did. All good if you want to. Please feel free to do that. It goes right to the front. And also, if you want to support the channel, you can become a member. Click that join button, if you would, on Sharpe YouTube. And you do that, $6.99 per month. More comes here. I can do no other work. Just come here and do this. It is much better for me. So if you can do so, please do so. You can also do so on Rumble if you want to. It's $4.99 on Rumble, $6.99 on YouTube, and $1.99 on Facebook. So you know Facebook too if you want to. All good. But no matter what you do, please subscribe to Sharpe Way on YouTube and select all notifications. If you have not, please do so. It does matter tremendously. Every bit does count. So please help out if you can. Thank you for that. She's doing great. All righty. Matt says we need to get Larry on Breaking Points. That would be nice if you have some connection. Please do so. I was on Breaking Points once before. I was on the weekend version before, talking about the corruption with Eric Adams. So I was on once before that, but never on their everyday show. They may not want me on because I tease them and call it Crystal and Friends the whole time. So they may not want that. So we'll see. Michael says, Checkpoint, we'd love to have Larry on. Please, if you guys want to get me on Checkpoint, happy to be there. Yes, you know I will yap all day, all night. Happy to make that happen. So if you guys can help out, please do so. If you know someone, just let them know. Yes, absolutely. All right. Let me grab some more of these if I could. All right. Mass Manawa says, instead of fundraising, you should do some insider trading. Apparently, that's not regulated at all. That will be better. Yes, you're right. I could do that. Or I could cheat on sports betting. But I have to win in Congress first for that. Wait a minute. No, Congress first for insider trading. I just got to be like a sports guy, and I could do the cheating on it. Yeah, maybe, yeah. The problem, Masmanawa, is I feel kind of bad because I have some morals. It's a problem. It gets in the way. But I have them. They get in the way. Yes. Okay, Mike says, oh, he calmed down. All right, good. Okay, good. Walk the dog. That was smart. You walk Genghis. Nicely done. I get that Tucker interviewed Putin and some were upset. It was newsworthy. Fuentes is not. He's a boogeyman used to justify violence and hate. The piece here is, right? The piece here is he is newsworthy because he's popular. That in itself is valuable. He's newsworthy because people are accepting him culturally where they would have never accepted him culturally 20 years ago. Never would have happened. That does make it newsworthy. It does. It makes it newsworthy. So, yeah. I'm looking over at Rumble. Anne Marie AI Boss says, word in the street, tomorrow night on the Sharpe Way podcast, it's all AI talk with this guy named Lars. True. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Lars Mapstead will be here. We're talking about AI and all the stuff and how it's going to destroy the world. Or not. Or not. One of those two. Or not. We'll figure it out then. So, yes, please join us tomorrow at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Not 7:45 like today. Unless Lars somehow dodges it or something. So, maybe. So, all righty. Let's see if I can go here. Phil says, Nick Fuentes was serviced by Destiny. Oh, is that what happened? Good for Nick, I guess. Yes. Matt says, who the hell is Destiny? Destiny is a very popular left-wing, I guess, podcast host, YouTuber, content creator. He used to be heavy on, I think, Twitch. Then he got banned on Twitch. And then he was big on, like, YouTube. I think he's still big on YouTube. I think he still is. I'm not sure. So, yes. He goes by the Omni-Liberal, I think, on X. So, yeah. Absolutely. All righty. Okay. Kai One says, no, that was something somebody made up to make it seem like he is gay, but not that he's a virgin. That's what Nicholas is. He promotes celibacy. He does promote celibacy. He does. He does promote celibacy. That's true. He does. So, all right. Walk down here again. I'm trying to get as many of these as I can, guys. I'm sorry. I'm behind. I'm trying to keep going. So, all right. Andrea says, I can imagine what the chat would be like if Fuentes came on. It would be wild. Oh, I hope so. Yes. John says, people are drawn to charisma and strength. Yes, I've been saying this for years, Larry. Huge reason why I went to Washington, D.C. and voted for Josh Smith as delegate. Yeah, I think it's true. You do find that. They are drawn to it, particularly when they want change, right? We believe that if someone has charisma and strength, that they will go down and do the right thing. We believe that. And we hope, and sometimes it's true. I mean, sometimes it's true, but it doesn't matter if it's true. We just believe it. So yeah, it's true. Matt asked a very important question. Yo, has Oscar been around lately, or did a communism finally get him? He's in the gulag now. So yes, he's in the gulag now. That's kind of, but it's okay. He wanted it, right? He wanted it. There we go. Kevron says, Republicans seem to be socialist like. There's a, I remember saying, libertarians always say, is it Republicans or Democrats? Republicans or Democrats driving the speed limit. So that's right. Did I get it right? Yeah, Democrats are speeding. Republicans are just driving the speed limit. So yeah, it's what you want to know what the Republican Party will be like in 20 years from now? Look what the Democratic Party is now. Now, I don't know if that's still true, but that has Trump kind of 2015, that area, 2014, 15, 16, that whole area, that really was a turning point for the parties. That time frame, the Democratic Party went woke that time, the Republican Party went Trump. So I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know what's going to happen in the future with that. So yeah. All right. JD says Fuentes could be a capital L libertarian. All anyone has to do is pay the membership fee and then makes him a libertarian. Well, yeah, officially, but are they actually, right? I mean, yes, you're right. You could just pay the fee and become one, right? Anyone could. I mean, RFK Jr. is a lifetime member of the Libertarian Party. So is Bill Weld. I'm just saying, both of those men are lifetime members because if you pay $1,500, you become a lifetime member of the Libertarian Party. I'm a lifetime member of the Libertarian Party also. So I'm the same as Bill Weld and RFK Jr. So yes, there we go. All right. Anyway. All righty. I'll grab some more of these if I can. Okay. Rick says, Israel is a source of Fuentes' relevance to people. Zionists make him. You know, it's true. That you saw it here. People really, he was one of the first people attacking Israel, but he wasn't necessarily attacking Israel. He was attacking Jews. And for those who don't know, there's difference. So yeah, he was kind of doing that. So it's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to say he was anti-Israel. I mean, he was, but it wasn't really Israel. So yeah, that was it. And it says, I want an 8-figure paycheck, but I like having a soul. Yes, but this is the funny part, Andrea. For most people, they will sell their soul for a price. Most, not all. Most will. And that price is often 8 figures. Just saying. It's a common thing. It's a common thing. Yes. Phil, thank you for the dollar. He says, oh no, hold on. There we go. I'm sorry. JJ says, Destiny called for conservatives to be killed. True. Basically said if he didn't want Charlie Kirk killed, Trump should not have won in 2024. Destiny has been tripling down, quadrupling down on this stuff. You are right, JJ. He has been talking about that it's totally fine to want people to die and all that kind of stuff. It's true. He has been very aggressive on that. I completely agree. Destiny is I've been on a show, by the way. I've been on a Destiny show twice. I debated him. Yeah, I debated him. I debated him twice. And he actually said, it's funny. He said the next day, he actually mentioned my name in one of his shows right afterwards. He's like, yeah, I kind of wish I debated this Larry Sharpe guy. I kind of wish I'd done a bit more homework on international stuff. Because he was all like, bombing people works. I'm not joking. Destiny is he's a standard Democrat type, neoliberal type. And he was like, basically bombing works. I'm like, it doesn't work ever. And I went down all the roads, and he thought that he can go down roads, down history, and that I would know it. And that was his error, because I knew what I was talking about. I knew the history, and I kind of chopped him up a little bit there. So, but it was fun. I enjoyed talking to Destiny. I would do it again if he wants to come back on. But yeah, I did go on the show twice already. So you can check it out. Larry Sharpe Destiny. I was on twice. So I know it's weird people who I've talked to in the past. I've been doing this for a while, and I will talk to anyone. So people go, okay, we'll talk to that guy. So yeah, any case. All right. If I go down here, grab some more of this if I can. Phil says, It's not cheating on sports betting. It's being Italian. Andrew Cuomo probably. That makes sense. He probably would say that. Yeah, that makes sense. Rick says, people watch and talk about you. Ergo, newsworthy. True. True. Yes, absolutely true. That's accurate. So Matt I says, oh, I thought Destiny was a girl. Sounds like a stripper name. It is. He knows that. His name is actually Steven something. Steven something. So, yeah. Lunatic says, Destiny as a content creator is a CUCK hold. True. I mean, that's not an insult. He actually is that. That's an actual thing. Like when he was married, he would let other men enjoy his wife. He said it. Like, again, I'm not insulting him. That's literally what you do your homework, literally what he did. Yes. So Lunatic is not lying. This is true. Yes. Again, yes, that actually happened. Note, I don't say these things to insult people. He let that happen. Yes. JJ, thank you. Bonnell, Stephen Bonnell. That's him. That's his actual name, but he goes by Destiny. Absolutely. So yeah, Lunatic is correct. He decided it. So look, I'm not mad at you for doing it. If that turns you on, and if you want to do that, go ahead. Do as you see fit. But then when your wife decides to go with someone else and leave you for that person who you allowed her to be with, you probably shouldn't be mad. Did that happen? That happened. That's what happened. That is why he is now single. I'm not joking. Again, yes, that I'm not joking. That's why. So anyway, all righty. 20 Kevron says, does libertarians believes in system? I think do libertarians believe in systemic racism and white privilege? So I think some do. I think it depends on libertarian, right? The issue is, if you're a libertarian and you want to change that, you wouldn't want to punish people. You'd want to fix the system. So there are many people who say there's no such thing as systemic racism. I see it all the time. Now, the problem is you can't yell systemic racism and then say people are racist. Either the system is racist, and when I say the system being racist, I mean the system creates racist outcomes, right? That is how a system is racist. People say, how can a system be racist? The system is racist, my definition, if the system, by default, regardless of who's in it, creates racist outcomes. If that is true, that is systemic racism. And if that's true, it doesn't matter if the people in it are racist or not, because the system produces racist outcomes. I hope that's clear what my definition is. So if you're going to say white people are terrible, they're bad, well, so what, there's no systemic racism? Well, there is. Well, then white people are bad? Well, yeah, they are. You can't have both. And why people get mad at it, it's true, you can't have both. So you can believe in one or the other. Now, Ben Shapiro has spent lots of time saying there's no such thing as systemic racism. If you care, I did a takedown of him, put in Larry Sharpe, Ben Shapiro on my Larry Sharpe page, and I expressed how he's utterly wrong. Systemic racism, as I described it, a system that by default puts out racist outcomes, does exist, has this, and I gave examples of it. So yes, systemic racism, as I described it, is true and can be fixed by fixing the system. And some of them are terrible. Let me give you an example of those, some of the obvious ones. One was, of course, redlining. It's very popular. For those who don't know, where the federal government literally, it's written down. I did this on a video, when I did a Juneteenth video years ago, 2019 maybe, when I literally expressed, put in the Juneteenth episode, you'll see it. I went through the government's systemic racism since 1618. Details. I showed everything. If you care, go back, check it out. Details. Is that how that works? So literally from the idea of the government saying, if you are in a neighborhood and you want government backing and funding and rates and mortgages, you can have a certain percentage of Jews and Italians. That was federal guidelines. I'm not making that up. And I showed the documentation. You have a certain amount of Jews and Italians that are, I think it was 15 or 30% that can be in a neighborhood. How many blacks? 0. No black people. That was government systemic racism, right? And now the idea of also not giving black people loans. Well, then later on, when they ended those rules, and Ben Shapiro says, well, they ended that in the 80s or whatever, 70s, so that's done. They were looking at other things. No. They looked at other things, true. But non-black families had decades and generations to grow credit because they were allowed those loans. Black families were not allowed that credit to grow that credit because they were not allowed their loans, not by racist mortgage brokers, not by racist bankers. Bankers aren't by default racist. I'm sure there are racist bankers that are racist everybody, but they aren't by default racist. They're by default about money. So they'd have given black people money too. They wouldn't have cared. But the federal government said no. Well, now bankers have to follow certain rules to look. Well, black people didn't have as much credit. Why? Because the government stopped them from having credit before. Hence, systemic racism. So, of course, does it exist? It does. So, yes, can it be fixed? Yes. We should not just start calling people racist when no matter what happens. So for example, say all of the bankers in that system were racist. The outcome's the same. None of them are racist. The outcome's the same. Some of them are racist. The outcome's the same. That's systemic racism. I hope that's clear. And some libertarians believe, some don't. But if you are libertarian, you don't want to enforce things that aren't so. I hope that makes sense. So anyway, all right, let me keep going. Liberty says, Larry's not afraid to talk to anyone. I remember that. And she remembers the episode with Destiny. Thank you. Yes. All righty. Phil says, Destiny slept with Lauren Southern, but his son is basically a maniac. That's funny. That is funny. Phil says, Larry did not get service with Destiny. I am now upset. How come Nick Fuentes gets that and I don't? Maybe he likes younger men. It's ageism, isn't it? That's what it is. Destiny, you ageist. How come I didn't get any servicing? God. So anyway, Phil says systemic racism like the welfare state. Yeah, it's the war on drugs, right? The war on drugs, same thing. Yes, the war on drugs, 100%. I think that's a yeah. So 20 Kevron says it's clear. Thank you. I'm glad it does. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Rick says the best example of white privilege is Robin DiAngelo. The socialist vanguard are the scions of wealth and privilege. Yeah, when it comes to that world, I think you're 100% correct. Robin DiAngelo is terrible. She breaks so much stuff. She's just terrible at what she does. She has made so much, she created so much damage in corporate America, so much damage. Her and Ibram X. Kendi, these guys have created so much damage. It's just terrible. So much damage. So, yeah. Master Howard says, hold on. He says, Destiny will be sliding the DMs in 5, 4. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. We'll see. Yeah, guys, I'm going to ask you if you could please click the like button. I know I ask all the time, but please do it. It does matter. If you haven't shared or reposted this, please share, repost this. It is important. Remember, Friday is Sharpe Club. Tomorrow, I'm on with Lars. Next week, we have Sharpe Way. We'll only be on Sharpe Way properties. Don't forget that. And on Larry Sharpe, GovShack is back 8 p.m. So we're spending more time with the Larry Sharpe Governor Run Monday evenings, Wednesday afternoons. The other evenings are Sharpe Way. All right. So we're trying to keep both going to the best of our ability. I know it's going to be a bit of a shift coming up here. I know it is. Please bear with me. I am trying my damnedest to somehow manage all of this and only get fined a little bit because the big boys are going to attack me. It's how it works. I'm going to be punished, assaulted, attacked in all different ways. Probably not physically, maybe, but probably not physically. I know. I'm trying to make this work to the best of my ability. I'm asking you to give me a little bit of grace these next couple of weeks while we share this. I will still try my best to give you interesting content, good ideas, live back and forth as I always do, respect of all of you as I go out of my way to do so. Please do so and help me out if you can. Guys, remember, if oneness is over, please do me a favor and put a comment. Put a comment after this is over, wherever you're watching it. And also remember that if this is not live, you're going to see 2 videos pop up. Please watch one of them right away. Mr. Rhythm loves that. Algorithm. I'll be on tomorrow, 7 p.m. I will see you all very soon.